Hold on to your butts.
I love Star Wars. It's a pillar of cinematic history. It redefined the entire genre and how movies are made. The closest thing you could probably compare it to today is that of the Avengers. People walked in not knowing what to expect, and then came out with an expression pretty close to that of and it brought forth a whole generation of fans that people were both intrigued by and admittedly a little bit freaked out by.
I know why I'm supposed to be here.
Why?
Because I got nowhere else to go.
Didn't matter who you were, young, old, black, white. If you love Star Wars, you love Star Wars.
There's a lot to escape from, so it's a good bet that many Americans this spring will be going to that galaxy long ago and far, far away.
An additional $2 billion in retail sales. Fox is introducing 17 new Jedi figures. It's spending $12 million to promote them. Lucasfilm, which produced Return of the Jedi, gets a royalty for every product tie-in. For records, cookies, books, video games, clothing, bubble bath, toothbrushes, even a Darth Vader speakerphone.
Hello?
I'm calling about Return of the Jedi.
Calling these films successful would be an understatement. If you are in any way attached to this project, you are an instant superstar. Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, all of their careers took off after this. But at the end of the day, the person who benefited the most from this was the man himself, George Lucas. This was a project that no one believed in and went through major production hell throughout. But once he got the finished product out, people start hailing him as king of the nerds.
This morning, the Jedi faithful dedicated a makeshift star in honor of Star Wars creator George Lucas.
That's of course just on top of becoming filthy rich. It seems that George Lucas and Star Wars could do no wrong, only getting better and better over time, reaching across generations. So when George said he planned on making another 3 movies, this time bringing prequels that took place during the time of young Darth Vader, everybody was hyped. Especially at this point when it had been 20 years since the last Star Wars film. Everybody was ready for their favorite sci-fi adventure to return. Unfortunately, they got the prequels. And suddenly it was like Star Wars never left, with fans lining up, geared up, ready to see the next chapter in this saga. The hype was real, guys, with people's emotions running so high, nearly bringing them to tears.
I feel like, I don't know, like it's exciting. I'm gonna be going to the first show of like Phantom Menace, and I don't know, that's all I can say. Thanks.
So fans finally got to see the movie they waited so long for. What was their reaction? What did they say after seeing this movie that promised the return of their precious Star Wars? They loved it!
Ten loved it, 7 liked it or thought it was okay, and 2 are no longer Star Wars fans.
Fantastic. Go see it as quick as you can.
It was better than all of them.
I think the lightsaber battles were the greatest.
It was good, dude. It was really good.
So worth it. So worth it.
It was amazing. It was everything I thought it was going to be and more.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, people actually liked The Phantom Menace when it first came out, giving it all the same praise that they gave the original trilogy. You would think this was the second coming of Jesus or something. It even got celebrity praise from people like Lucy Liu and Shaq. Wow, can you imagine having to sit behind Shaq at the theater? But as time went on, something weird happened. People's opinions on the film started to change ever so slightly. All that praise and admiration that was there at the beginning suddenly started to become way more critical.
I remember the day they announced the name and the Phantom Menace hit the airwaves and everybody went, yeah.
What does that mean?
What the f does that mean?
And that was one of the great moments of anybody's movie-going life.
Then the movie starts.
But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay with it, you know?
It went from this glow.
And I just remember, you know, thinking, oh my God, is it really this, is it actually this bad?
It just felt like being slapped in the face with a wet fish.
It was like, what? This could suck?
Actually even turning against George Lucas himself.
A time machine, if I had a time machine, you know, because I'm really into history. And the first thing I thought of doing, if I actually had a time machine, is I would go back to around 1993 or 94 and kill George Lucas with a shovel. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And stop him from making the prequels.
The Phantom Menace was 18 months ago, Tim.
I know, Bilbo. Okay, it still hurts. You know, that kid wanted a Jar Jar doll.
Kids like Jar Jar. Why?
Did I wait 4 days in the rain, peeing into my own hand and drinking it to get Phantom Menace tickets for the 3rd time? Yes, I did.
Part of it was coming to terms with what it was.
In short, the prequels kinda sucked. These movies have never truly been that much of a quality film, ranging from being to being what the heck, whether it be the choices in dialogue.
Now this is pod racing. Are you an angel? What?
I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
The uncanny special effects, and let's say very unlikable new additions of characters.
Jar Jar is a key to all this.
On almost every metric of filmmaking, these films always seem to miss the bar, and that's just putting it kindly. George Lucas even had a screening for the first cut of The Phantom Menace, and you can see their reactions to how bad the actual film is.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
And it's not like this was just a bad editing job the first go around. George points out that there's huge chunks of this film that is bad, but if you take out would just make the movie worse.
I mean, I've thought about this quite a bit, and the tricky part is you almost can't take any of those pieces out of there now. Because each one kind of takes you to the next place, and you can't jump.
Wait a minute, how did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Despite this, the film still made more than its money back, allowing George to make 2 more movies. But by the end of the trilogy, people just didn't love Star Wars anymore, or were at least divided. One of the biggest grievances they had with the films was that of the storytelling of Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. They thought they were going to see the epic journey of a hero slowly slip into the dark side, and we would be able to actually see what events shaped that moment. But instead, we witnessed the tale of a whiny...
He's overly critical. He never listens. He doesn't understand. It's not fair.
Angry, and very psychopathic douchebag, who, for the most part, seems like a generally good guy, at least somewhat morally speaking. But all it takes is some old fart to tell him some bedtime stories, and suddenly he's willing to betray his friends, but also kill younglings. Like, that's a giant leap, guys. And yeah, you can say they set that up with the whole Tusken Raider, you know, genocide thing, but that was a different situation. The dude's mom just died. A pretty horrific death. there's a lot of implications that she was pretty tortured. And while, yeah, he went too far with killing, you know, literally everybody, you can still apply some logic to his decision. But in this scenario, he has shown no character that would suggest that he'd be willing to just slaughter innocent kids. Innocent kids that trust him. You see that he's distraught over what he just did after essentially helping kill Mace Windu. But he goes from that to like 10 minutes later just whacking away at these kids.
Slayer.
On top of that, the promises of the Emperor are pretty flimsy. He goes from telling Anakin that he knows the secrets to saving his wife, to then suddenly saying that they'll learn the secrets together. Like, what? Why is Anakin still following this guy? He literally assisted in murdering Mace Windu because he thought that he could help him save his wife. The moment that he made it clear that he didn't have what Anakin wanted, you would think Anakin would have realized that, yeah, this was a major mistake. If only the Jedi had their own way of healing people. More on that later. But nope, he just goes along with the Emperor and overthrows the whole Republic and becomes pretty much space Nazis. Oh yeah, and his wife dies in childbirth because she has a broken heart and no longer has the will to live or some stupid crap like that.
What does that mean? What the does that mean?
People were not satisfied with this trilogy and left a bad taste in their mouths for about 10 years. But over time, a new light came over the horizon. The promise of something new, something that might give them hope.
Psych!